Hi, deal makers. So in this video, we're going to answer the question, should you and I buy Amazon stock in 2020? So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Rolly Agape. I am the author of the book No Money Down Formula in Real Estate. This book helps you buy properties with little or no money down. And I'm also a contributor to Money Troubleshooters, know your money questions answered by financial gurus. And you may be wondering why a real estate investor is talking about the stock market or a specific stock. Well, I'm also a stock market investor, and I'm looking for opportunities, good deals that I can buy in the stock market, especially in the global stock market. And I'm just sharing what I have found, what my research has turned up. So if you like these kinds of videos, please make sure to smash the like button, make it turn blue. That tells me that this is interesting for you, and this is some that also helps the YouTube algorithm. So it helps the YouTube share good videos, to other people. So let's dive into our presentation. Again, this is all about should you and I buy Amazon stock in 2021. Make sure that you hit the like button and let's dive in. To be able to answer that question, we need to look at the business model of Amazon. And Amazon has three business segments. There is the North American e-commerce, that's US and Canada. Then there is international e-commerce, so that's outside of the US. And there's Amazon Web Services. Maybe this is not as known to other people, but we're going to look at these three business segments. We're going to see, is there growth in each of these segments, and is there, because Amazon is a 1.6 trillion company already. So if we look at the chart of Amazon, you can actually see that since the bottom in March, Amazon has been, on an upward trend right until September. And then from September onwards, it's been stuck in this channel. So some people, I was actually wondering what is happening. Is this a good thing? Is it still good to hold on? Because I own Amazon stocks right now. Maybe you don't, but for guys who are wondering, like for me, should I sell already, or should I keep it, or should I add more? Then that is the purpose of this video. So from this chart, now you can see it's like Amazon has been stuck. So what gives? What is happening? Now the chart does not actually tell you if you should buy Amazon, if it's still a good buy for the next 5 or 10 years. What you really need to look at is the business model, and that's what we're going to do in this video. Right, so let's start with this is the general breakdown of the three business segments. So as you can see here, North American e-commerce actually accounts for 62% of the pie. So this is the net sales of Amazon for the past 12 months. This is trailing 12 months. TTM stands for trailing 12 months. So for the past 12 months, as of the third quarter of 2020, Amazon has already had $347 billion, in total sales. That is up 31% year on year. So from last year it was at 265 billion and $469 million. Now it's 347. So right off the bat, we can see here that Amazon is still growing. So the trend for Amazon is still growing. So it's up 31% year on year. 62% of that is because of North American e-commerce. So more than half of the sales of Amazon as a company comes from North American e-commerce. International e-commerce accounts for 26% of the sales, or 90 billion, and Amazon Web Services uh, has a smaller contribution in total sales at 42 billion. But as you will see later, Amazon Web Services is actually the future for Amazon. All right, so let's dive in and analyze North American e-commerce segment. So no surprise here, Amazon is the big gorilla in the US e-commerce retail sales. It's at 38%. And the numbers are the same for Canada. So Amazon also dominates the Canadian e-commerce market. Second is Walmart at a distant 5%. So right now, Amazon is in no danger of being displaced from the number one position. This huge 46% here is actually all of those thousands or maybe even millions of smaller e-retailers in the market. All right. And the reason why Amazon is so dominant in North America is because of Amazon Prime. So by 2021, by this year, the target is for Amazon to have 56.9% of households in the United States. So that's about 71.7 million households subscribing to Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime gives Amazon gives the company a source of recurring income. So this is a stable source of income for Amazon. They are not uh, subject to the seasonality of e-commerce sales because some companies may be subject to that seasonality. Maybe it's the holiday season, or that's why some of the local companies here, they have to do these sales, every month to get the sales going on a monthly basis. Now, Amazon is not subject to that because of Amazon Prime. Prime members get a lot of benefits. So I'm not a Prime member, so I had to check out what are the benefits of being an Amazon Prime member. So there are shipping benefits, right? There's free shipping, free 2-day, free same day, depending on the zip code, depending on your location. So there are free shipping benefits. There are streaming benefits. You can watch Prime Video, Amazon channels, right? You can now cut your cable channel if you want to, watch HBO or Showtime or Star 2. There's Prime Music as well. So you don't need to subscribe to other music players, Music Unlimited, and there's even a gaming channel, and gaming is also a huge segment. It's a huge growing business, gaming. Other shopping benefits, have access to Whole Foods. Amazon bought Whole Foods, and there are savings, for Prime members. There's 5%, I guess this is a 5% cashback for eligible Prime members. And you get all of these other benefits, right? There's delivery and savings, 2-day delivery for Amazon Pharmacy. We're going to talk about Amazon Pharmacy later. There's Amazon Fresh, Amazon Dash, right? Prime Wardrobe. Was it Prime Wardrobe? Is I think. Okay, so definitely that's for clothes. But there's special deals, right, for Amazon family. There's Prime Early Access, right? If there is a lightning sale, you get a 30-minute head start. So there's a lot of cool benefits, unlimited reading, yeah, for Kindle, for a Kindle reader, etc. So there's a lot of cool benefits to be an Amazon Prime member, and that's why Amazon has a strong hold on the U.S. market. Okay. Now, in addition to that, Amazon also creates all of these. Well, they have their own Amazon Echo speakers, but they also have partnerships with third-party sellers. There are Alexa-enabled smart home devices. So Amazon has dipped its hand on the Internet of Things. So all of these Alexa-powered devices interact with Alexa or have Alexa features. But the cool thing here is I'm pretty sure that Amazon also has access to the usage data, right? So that's huge. Amazon knows what's happening, at least in terms of all of these connected smart devices. So what's happening in your homes that gives them unprecedented access on, say, behavior, on patterns, consumption patterns. So it's pretty sure that in the future, all of that data is going to benefit Amazon. All right. Amazon is not very transparent when it comes to the revenue of their Echo speakers, their smart speaker product, but it's estimated that it contributes 11 billion in sales. So this is a small segment, but it is a preview of things to come as the Internet of Things becomes more real for people. Amazon already has a head start in this mega trend, and you can expect more smart devices, more Alexa powered devices in the future. And Amazon also makes money from advertising. So all of their websites also make or get revenue from digital ad spend. The US has a total ad spending is a total of 129.3 on digital ad spend, and Amazon captured 8.8% of that in 2019. Now, there's still no data on 2020. We'll definitely let you know when that data is already available. But as you can see, Amazon is already the third largest recipient of digital ad spend, eating into a portion of Google's ad spend. Facebook is still growing, but Amazon is already number three. All right. So when it comes to the North American segment, this is the data. Sales or revenue has been up 39% year on year. It was around 42.6 billion in Q3 of 2019. Now it's up to 59.3 billion. So e-commerce, North American e-commerce is safe. It's still trending upwards. Now, when it comes to operating profit, it's up 76% year on year from 1.2 billion in operating income as of last year. It's now up at 2.2 billion. So remember this number 2.2 billion. This is going to be important later on. So the trailing 12-month net sales of the North American segment is at $214.6 billion. Now, as you can see here, North American e-commerce is a low margin business. So 59 billion in sales, but only 2.2 billion in profit. So I think that's around 95%, if I'm not mistaken, 95% margin. So it's a low margin business. Uh, but there's no reason to worry because as you will see later on, there is hope for Amazon in the future. So let's dive into the next segment, international e-commerce. Amazon is actually in 200 countries. It's accessible to more than 200 countries, but we're going to focus on the Amazon Prime countries because this is where Amazon has a stronger presence. So remember the benefits of Prime. So if Prime is available in a country, then they have a stronger foothold in that country. And as you can see here, Amazon is number one in a couple of countries. It's number one in Australia, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, and Spain and the UK. So it's number one in a number of countries in Europe and number one in, or number two in India. It's actually competing with Flipkart, which is owned by Walmart. And India is a huge market. They have more than 1 billion people. It's almost, probably, it's the second biggest market, probably behind China. So that is a huge emerging market. It's number two, fighting neck and neck. Both 31%. No, they have both a 31% market share with Flipkart. So it's going to be interesting to see how Amazon competes in that space. It's number three in Belgium and number two in Mexico. So um, in most of these countries where there is Amazon Prime, so Amazon has leadership. And as you can see, or as you saw in the North American example, as as these markets, mature and embrace more Amazon Prime, then that's going to drive revenue in those countries. And all over the world, there are 150 million members already as of last year. That's up from 100 million in 2018. So there are now more members outside of the US, 81.3 compared to 68.7 million members in the US. So international e-commerce or international expansion is very, very important for Amazon. That's going to be a source of growth for them in the future. And obviously, there are more people outside of the US than inside the US. So this is a very, very promising development for Amazon. And this is how the international e-commerce segment performed. There's 37% year-on-year growth in sales from 18 billion in Q3 of 2019 to 25 billion in Q3 of 2020. And for the longest time, the international operations was actually losing money, but last year it finally turned a profit. Right? So from negative 386 now to 407 million dollars in profit. So this segment is just getting started. This is going to be huge for Amazon. And as you can see, e-commerce, although we've seen it's e-commerce, it's really not just e-commerce. So the what's driving North American and international e-commerce, it's not just retail sales, it's the Prime subscription, no, it's the option to watch streaming videos, play games, and even advertising. So these things are what's driving, the income of e-commerce or of the e-commerce segments. But also there is the artificial intelligence um, driver up there, those Alexa powered devices. That's going to be huge. That Internet of Things play by Amazon is going to be huge for the e-commerce segment in the future. And the more that Amazon gets to know its customers, their behavior, their spending patterns or consumer patterns, then the more they'll be able to suggest appropriate deals, appropriate discounts, or appropriate promotions for them as well, just to get them to spend more money on the platform. And if you that is information that I personally like, and if you like that as well, we've just finished the first two segments of Amazon. Please take time to smash the like button. That's to help the YouTube algorithm to rank this particular video. Okay, so let's dive into the next or to the last business segment of Amazon, Amazon Web Services. So this service came about because their tech team, their IT team, rethought the infrastructure needs of Amazon. They had to, to rethink how they're planning out their data centers, how they're planning out their technology, and they were able to come up with a solution that would help the company grow in a scalable manner. But not just that, they were also able to design it in such a way that they can actually offer this as a service to other companies or other corporations because they are seeing, in their own operations, so they can already see the massive need for infrastructure, for data centers. And that is something that other companies will be doing as well. But they may not be able to do that as well as, say, Amazon's engineers. And that's why Amazon Web Services is a very, very cool service. Coming from a technological, from someone who has a tech background, I used to be a tech consultant for Oracle. I used to support their programmers. I used to also manage their servers. So I know how hard it is to manage a data center. And I was only managing a development data center. So I can only imagine how hard it is to manage a production data center, especially a global operation like Amazon. So what they did here was very brilliant. And then offering this as a service to other companies was also really brilliant. And that can be seen from this just the continuous growth of Amazon's cloud business. So from 1 billion in 2014, it's now a 9 billion business in 2019. And we can actually see now 9 billion per quarter business in 2019. We'll actually see the latest numbers later. And now it's been growing by leaps. And Amazon actually now controls 33% of the cloud infrastructure services market. This is actually called CIPS, or Cloud Infrastructure as a Service or Platform as a Service services market. This is where companies can, they don't need private data centers anymore. They don't need to expand their real estate, which is bad for me. I operate in the office segment. It's bad for me, and that's why I need to invest in the stock market, so to kind of make up for that loss on that side of the business, right? So it's ahead of Microsoft, ahead of other big tech companies that are in the cloud business. And what will drive the growth of AWS? Well, right now, the biggest driver is the shift to digital. As more and more companies shift to digital, and that this shift was accelerated by the COVID pandemic. So a lot of people, uh, now that they need to work from home, they need to do remote work. uh, Companies needed to scramble, purchasing more cloud applications, more. digital infrastructure or cloud infrastructure. They needed to get into the cloud, and uh, this is what's driving AWS growth right now, the shift to digital. And in fact, that has been going on. From this chart alone, you can see this blue line is investments in physical, right? Physical machinery in real estate, that has been going down. The trend has been going down. But the trend for the investments in digital has been going up. And you can see this sharp rise out up here. This is because of the pandemic. So the pandemic forced businesses to go digital. And so now uh, we have an inflection point where now companies are spending more on digital rather than on physical. And that trend is just going to continue in the future. That's going to drive AWS. The next growth driver is 5G. So you may have heard of 5G already. Maybe you already have a 5G iPhone or a 5G phone, uh, and that's going to that that massive increase in speed will not only translate to faster applications, but that will also give birth to new applications. Because imagine what that speed is going to do. This is not just a leap in performance, this is going to be a leap in paradigm because there's now almost no delay, no more latency, and there's a lot of thought on what can be done here, right? There's a remote surgery. So in healthcare, your surgery, your open heart surgery can be done here in the Philippines, but your doctor is in the US. So those things are going to be possible. You will have smart factories already where engineers can now control their factories remotely. So there's going to be a lot of uh, new applications that's going to be birthed by 5G. And all of these new applications will need computing power. They'll need immense computing power. They're going to need immense storage requirements. And that's what's going to drive AWS forward as well. And then there is this adoption of artificial intelligence and machine learning. And AI and machine learning requires petaflops of, petaflop is a measure of power, computing power. So you're going to need a lot of that. And that means what that translates to is more need for AWS. So all of these technological moves like Internet of Things. I already mentioned that. And finally, there's quantum computing, right? Right now, we're in the silicon computing era. Our computers are powered by semiconductors, but in the future, they are going to be powered by quantum computers. Right now, we're still decades away from having realistic applications for quantum computing. But AWS announced that they are making AWS Bracket available. And what that does is you can do your quantum algorithms, you can test your quantum algorithms, or you can build your quantum applications on AWS, right? How cool is that? So they don't need to use expensive quantum computers yet. They can already start building applications for quantum computing on AWS. So it's still a bit right? Future. It's very, very future oriented. But this is what I love about Amazon and AWS. They are ready for the future. This is not a company that's going to become obsolete when e-commerce matures, and it will eventually mature, right? But Amazon is ready for the future. All right, and this is what AWS brings to the table. So net sales are up 29% year on year. From last year, it was at 8.9 billion. This year, it's at 11.6 billion. And operating income is up 56% year on year. So that is a massive growth in profit from 2.2 billion up to 3.5 billion in profit or operating profit. And as you can see here, if you will remember, uh, North American e-commerce was only able to contribute to around 2 billion, in net profit or in operating income for Amazon, while it had a higher sales number. It was at 59 billion, if I remember correctly. So e-commerce is a low margin business, but AWS is a high margin business. The margin for AWS is at around 30%. So that's why this is the future for Amazon. This is where profits will come in, and more as AWS grows more, and Amazon is able to fine tune, this end of the business, it's going to become um, more of a profit driver for Amazon. And right now, it accounts for 50% of the net profits in Amazon. So Amazon is a profitable company. It is a growing company, and it's something that I really like. So again, net sales is up 37% year on year. Income is up 197% year on year. So, or net income, net profit, right? 2 billion last year. Now it's 6.3 billion. And that number is going to grow as international commerce becomes more profitable, as AWS grows, and as North American commerce continues to grow. And so there's a lot of things to like, in Amazon, and they still have a lot of things, in store for the future. Amazon also has other drivers, so it's not just AWS, it's not just e-commerce. No, you already know Prime. Prime is very, very much inside the streaming revolution and the expansion in gaming. And as more people go online, they'll be opting to stream videos, stream movies, and play games, play online games, right? And Amazon is also diving into healthcare. Right? They have their pharmacy now. That they just have a few stores. It's still small, still in the infancy stage, but they're also already looking at this segment, and we all know how important healthcare is. So this is a very, very important segment of Amazon's business. I hope it becomes a significant contributor in the future. Uh, we also have Halo. Halo is a project where you have a wearable that tracks your health and gives you AI assisted health advice. So it's like having an AI powered doctor on your body. So that's going to be awesome. I don't know I'm just excited what's going to be the future for this, because now we're going to have healthier people in the future, right? With those AI-powered health recommendations, and Amazon is in the middle of that. It's going to be huge. So you're not just, you have your Fitbit where you're tracking your steps and all that, but this is a step up, from that. And Amazon is also, aside from Prime Gaming, they have this Luna project where they're not just going to be playing online games, they're diving into console games. So they'll be competing against Microsoft's Xbox, against Nintendo. So they're diving into that market as well. And this is in partnership with Ubisoft or Ubisoft. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. They will also be beaming internet, from low orbit satellites with Project Kuiper. They intend to provide, broadband internet for areas that are underserved. And they also plan, to dive into the robo-taxi market, right? This Amazon has a vast logistics network. So their expertise in logistics, I believe, will also help them, get into the robo-taxi revolution. Right. So these are all exciting developments for the future in Amazon. I really love what Amazon is doing here. They're ready for the future. So when the e-commerce market matures, as it eventually will, it's not yet maturing right now. It's probably not going to mature for a couple of years, but Amazon is already getting ready for the next phase of its development. Even though they already have AWS, but they're getting ready. This is a company that is serious in growing for the next 100 years. And that is a company that you would want to own, right? You want to own companies that will be in the running for the next 100 years. And Amazon is one of that. And they don't neglect, their corporate responsibility. They have these ESG practices. ESG stands for environmental, social, and governance practices. They are ranked number two by Forbes as the world's best employer. Okay, so this is not just the US, this is the world. They are number two in the world. They created 200,000 jobs during the COVID pandemic. So while everyone was laying off, while everyone was telling people, no, don't work, Amazon created jobs. They created 100,000 permanent jobs and 100,000 contractual jobs. So that is really, that's commendable move by Amazon. They did not think of, you know, uh, reducing expenses. Of course, they had to rethink their expenses, but they went ahead and created jobs as well. They have the Amazon Future Engineer program, which is a program in cooperation with the education industry, or with the schools, where they will fund uh, computer science programs, high-level computer science programs, in schools all over the U.S. and hopefully all over in the rest of the world. They're also signatories to I think they're founders of the Climate Pledge Fund. So Climate Pledge Fund, this is a alliance of corporations where they don't just commit, no, they're committing to a carbon neutral operation by I think the year 2040. They're carbon neutral in the future. So they're giving money to this fund, and what Amazon is doing. So part of the money that they put up there is they're creating their own solar and wind farms. So they're creating carbon neutral sources of energy that will power, a portion of their operations as well. So I think the commitment for these solar and wind farms is they will produce enough energy to power the smart devices that they are manufacturing. And also, of course, Amazon's e-commerce will not be successful, without partnering with their sellers, with the sellers that sell on the Amazon network. So Amazon, it's not all Amazon. They don't produce all of those things. They work with third-party sellers as well, and they have their own Amazon Accelerate program to help sellers sell more on the Amazon program. So if the sellers, as the sellers succeed, Amazon succeeds as well. So it's a very, very good ecosystem that Amazon has produced, in its lifetime. Of course, there are risks involved, right? There's competition, there's commerce competition, and it's actually very, very fierce. But as you have seen, Amazon is actually number one in a lot of markets. They do have low presence in some of these emerging markets. I think the only big presence that they have right now is in India, but in others, they're not the number one, or they're not the dominant position in the other emerging markets. But it's going to see interesting to see how Amazon competes in those. Actually, in China, I think they have already pulled out of China. But they only have a small presence in China because Alibaba dominates. Alibaba and JD dominates the Chinese e-commerce market, and Amazon was not able to penetrate that market. But it's good that they have a presence in India, right? Probably because India is English speaking. Right? Then there's going to be increased competition in the cloud market. So for AWS, they have increased competition from Microsoft, right? So that is expected, but Amazon has a big lead in that aspect. So these first three, the competition, low presence, these are actually, oh, I would think, no, for me, these are actually low risks in terms of, disrupting the business of Amazon. The biggest risk for Amazon is these antitrust investigations, but Jeff is not Jeff Bezos is not alarmed by this. He actually welcomes it because in one interview, he actually mentioned that they are a big company and they will be scrutinized. So that is already the reality. Now, big companies will be scrutinized. There will always be antitrust investigations. That is already a reality. And so they're very, very prepared. They welcome these investigations. So whatever happens, I'm pretty sure that Amazon is going to be able to adapt, to whatever happens in the market. So this is a company that is worth owning for the next 100 years. And I already own this. I already own shares of stock in Amazon, and I look forward to adding more, in the future. And if you don't, I highly encourage that you start buying. So it's very clear for me the answer to the question, should you buy Amazon stock in 2021? Yes, right? But don't just take my word for it, okay? And if you like that answer, right, make sure to smash the like button, right? If you like everything that you have heard so far, I still have a few things that I'll be sharing with you, but make sure to smash the like button and make it turn blue. That's for the YouTube algorithm. It helps the YouTube algorithm rank good videos. And if you think this is a good video that other people should discover as well, make sure to hit that like button. And it also tells me what topics I should be focusing on. All right. And like I said, don't just take my word for it. There are 31 other analysts that say Amazon is a buy and only one say it's a hold. So I'll be heading over to my eToro platform, and we're here on the research tab of Amazon. So this is the consensus of analysts. It's a strong buy. There's a strong buy signal. And current price of Amazon is 3,100. So it's way below the average consensus of $3,816. So you still have a 22.9% um, upside. And these projections are for the next 12 months. Right? So at least for the years of 2021, uh, analysts project that Amazon price is going to rise. The highest projection is at 4,350, and you can actually see who are the analysts that have given those recommendations. So there's Brian Nowak from Morgan Stanley, John Blackledge from Cohen and Company, Colin Sebastian from Robert W. Baird. So these guys are all Wall Street analysts. They're five-star analysts. They're way much better than I am. I'm just a simple investor. So these guys are much smarter than me. So, like I said, don't just take my word for it. No, listen to all of these Wall Street or smart Wall Street analysts as well. All right, and understand that winning companies will continue to win. I think we've already seen that, right? Companies like Amazon, Apple, Google, they will continue to win. Tesla, they will continue to grow, and these are the companies that you should be owning for the next 100 years. Definitely, again, should you buy Amazon stock? So yes, buy it below 3,300 to give you that upside, right? If you remember, there's a 3,800 upside. So at least to make sure that you still make money, at least make money already this year, uh, make sure to buy Amazon below 3,300. There's an opportunity right now. All right, and it's not just Amazon. Amazon is not the only company that I recommend. I recommend that you also grab my top 21 stocks for 2021 and make sure to buy stocks from eToro. Right, so I'm outside of the US. I don't have a US stock brokerage account. I actually use eToro. So if you're a foreigner, you don't have a US brokerage account, make sure to use eToro. You get free money from eToro when you open an account. You'll get free $50 that you can use to buy more shares. So I hope that you like this video. Please make sure to hit the like button, smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. And if you haven't done so, subscribe to get more videos like this. Make sure to hit the notification bell button to be notified whenever I have more videos like this. So this has been Ronald Kagape. It's been my pleasure to share this information with you, and I look forward to sharing more information on the global stock markets with you in the future. So again, I encourage you to make deals in the global stock market, and my wish for you is for all of your deals to push through. Happy deal making.